45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense, and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
Have a pretty special guest. I'm excited to talk to you today, Mr. Ozzie. That's it. I'm just going with Ozzie, with an IE. But before we get talking to Ozzie about his new album, I want to tell you about the Patreon, or remind you about the Patreon. It is flamekeeper.com or patreon.com/flamekeeper. There's a few tiers to pick from, ranging from $1 to $5. Gives you early access, some other stuff like access to some recordings from my band and also Mark Jackson's band Overload and some other stuff we have in the works. So if you got a few bucks to spare a month or just $1 to spare a month and you want to help us out, we would really appreciate it. But enough about that. Mr. Ozzie Darden from Children of the Reptiles here. We are going in on a deep dive on his new album, Heavy as the Head. 9 tracks of soul-crushing riffing that I will say has really inspired me to write our next album. It might be Children of the Reptile Jr. As much as I've listened to this album. Hopefully not, but you know.
Yeah, the grandchildren of the Reptile there.
Yes, there we go. Or maybe Aunt and Uncle the Reptile, because I'm pretty old. I'm like 43. How old are you?
39. So
that's
not too far off.
Okay, yeah, we could be distant.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, no problem.
Other guys in the band are a little bit younger than me. 7 to 10 years younger than me, but I keep up with them.
Yeah, I'm the oldest in my band. Micah is second oldest. It is Chad and Ryan are in their 30s. Micah will be 40 in June, so he gets to join me over the hump, full of random body pains for no reason and other assorted medical issues that just come up. So exciting stuff. Over 40. Dude, let's start. Let's just start with the front, man. The cover here. I'm gonna take it out of the jewel case just so the glare's not as bad. So, what's the inspiration behind the cover art on this album?
Cover art. So we had a couple of artists kind of back out on us on this album. Just they couldn't get time to do it for whatever reason. So I can use, well, not Photoshop. I can use the freeware version of Photoshop called GIMP.
Mm-hmm.
So I took like a picture of just some like swampland from around here. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, which is close to the Great Dismal Swamp. Just kind of we're on the beach, but it's also a very swampy area. So I just like took a picture and went into GIMP, add some filters to it, made it look really dark and mysterious. Then I just used one of the AI things to make like a crown, a weird looking crown, and put that in the front. That's pretty much all I did. I messed around with various filters and stuff in Photoshop or GIMP, and eventually got something that we were pretty happy with. I did put the cover to my bandmates, so big credit to them for helping me out with it, and also some Reptile fans, James Hart and Ryan Tysinger, were really helpful in giving me some feedback on the art as I was doing it, and I think together we all kind of got it down to something that looks pretty good. So
yeah, I really wasn't sure what the symbolism of the crown was. I know obviously it goes on your head. And the title is Heavy as the Head, so I wasn't sure. I was just curious.
It kind of goes in it took us a while to decide the title of the album. Like, I guess this kind of segs into that. Heavy is the head. It's a misappropriation of like a Shakespeare quote from Richard III. I think it's a Shakespeare play. Heavy lies the head which wears the crown, but it's just heavy is the head that wears the crown. We think we're one of the best metal bands out there doing it today, and you know, we see ourselves as kings in the metal scene.
Sure.
So heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's just kind of it's a bold, brash statement of intent is the way we intended it. Not trying to be arrogant, not trying to be cocky, but you play in a band, it's hard fucking work for very little accolades and pay.
Yes.
We would not be doing this. We did not think it was really fucking good shit, and we're super proud of it. So yeah, that's our statement of intent, and that's the crown.
Nice. Yeah, I thought your statement, the best independent metal band going, was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I'm very inspired, especially as like a frontman by professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So when you're the guy cutting the promo, you're not like, well, I think we're pretty good. You're like, no, I'm the best goddamn wrestler on the fucking place of the planet Earth. Like,
yeah,
you gotta believe it. You gotta act like you believe it, or else nobody else will.
right.
And that's the way I see it.
I have no reason to doubt you after listening to this album over and over. I might have listened to it more than you have by now. But we'll get into all that because I listen to it like every day. Even the day
Oh hell yeah!
even the day 72 Seasons came out, I like blew through it. I was like, all right, I'm going back to Children of Reptile.
Oh yeah.
So,
that's good. I like
like
72 Seasons a lot. So
it was
yeah,
good, but like I said, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Metallica has like lost me as a fan just because like their ridiculous ticket prices and like just like not playing small towns anymore. Like they're just all big city or nothing now. When they used to play like little podunk towns with like a civic center, when they're like even in like Injustice and Black Album.
I can't defend that stuff, and I'm not trying to go see them play live anytime soon because it is ridiculous. It's an ordeal, but I like the album. I thought it was pretty good. So.
Yeah. I mean, I get excited because you hope for like that one riff. It's like, oh my god, that riff.
Yeah.
So it's like exciting when it comes out like once every 8 years. You're like, oh, finally, and then it's like, okay. Well,
there's not many bands in the metal sphere where an album coming out is like an event that we all kind of share. So it was fun for that. But
and weirdly enough,
that's one I like to listen to when I'm like at the gym or something, not listening too closely, just like lifting weights. It's just nice mid-tempo.
Oddly enough, they didn't even get the #1 album that week it came out. It was like some country guy. I was like, man, what do you got to do this day and age to get some damn attention? Like, come on, So, all right, man. Well, let's get started with track 1, the intro. Delvers in Darkness. Any interesting story behind this one? It's a keyboard intro, very atmospheric. This is
kind of this is a dungeon synth track done by an artist named Hermit. He just kind of mysteriously dropped this one in our laps. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Recorded in Lost Woods Studio, parts unknown.
Makes sense.
Wink.
Lost Woods. Okay.
But we wanted to do. Me and Chris, our guitar player, are big fans of the dungeon synth stuff. We love to listen to that, like while we're reading shit like that. So we wanted to do like an intro. I know a lot of people are like kind of against like little quiet intros like that, but we love them. So we wanted to do one here. And I guess the one interesting fact about it, the riff that leads into the second song, Warriors of Light, goes da 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 da. The main riff, I guess, in Delvers in Darkness is just that that melody, just
really? I
expounded upon a little bit. Yeah, it's just like sort of using the theme. But yeah, it's sort of Delvers in Darkness, and then the Warriors of Light, darkness, light, and then it sort of makes it feel like you're coming out of the cave into the Warriors of Light. So that was kind of the idea behind that, production wise.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, real quick before we get started into that songs, what gear do you guys use, like just amp and guitar wise, or like at least to record?
I have a 1979 Marshall JNP. I just really wanted a Judas Priest, 70s Thin Lizzy type sound. So that's what I go with. I use a lot of pedals. I actually get more of my distortion from pedals than the amp itself, just because I want to have a lot of headroom to like boost with or whatever. But pedal wise, I do a tube screamer into a Rat. That's most of my distortion. For clean sound, a clean tone, I keep my I play a Les Paul. My neck pickup I keep turned down, and I switch over the neck pickup turned down for with the volume down for my cleans. Chris Millard, our other guitar player, the Super Shredder, he plays a Marshall Silver Jubilee reissue. I think his pedal setup is also a tube screamer with an MXR distortion plus. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he plays a Marshall Silver Jubilee with our band a lot. Sometimes he plays a JCM 800 as well, but we're very much in that classic JCM 800 JMP type sound. The Silver Jubilee is just kind of a JCM 800 with a few more options added onto it, kind of thing.
Cool. And what kind of drum set does your drummer use? Most important.
If
you know,
I think he uses a sonar kit. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what cymbals he uses. Sorry, Chase.
That's fine. Like I said.
Yeah. Our bass player is big on Trace Elliott stuff. He's got a ton of Trace Elliott, and he plays just like a million different basses. Chris, our other guitar player, is primary guitar. He recorded with quite a few different guitars on this, but his primary axe is a Gibson Explorer, a Gibson Les Paul. Tone wise, I consider myself the hammer, and he's like the sword. So I have a bassier, broader, like more roaring tone. He's a more like biting, cutting tone, and we try to blend those together. So
right, cool, man. Hey, let me pause you for just a minute. I got to run up and get a passy real quick. So, all right, cool, man. Let's get into the actual songs now. Warriors of Light. Oh, go ahead.
All right, I was gonna say here's the guitar I recorded pretty much everything with. It's my Les Paul custom. So put it back now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so what is the story behind this song? I've tried to figure out what it's about.
So
I cannot.
Lyrically, I guess this is not something we've ever necessarily considered, but we kind of write most of our songs like about something, like some piece of art, media, whatever. This is about a video game, Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 1 in particular, but the Warriors of Light are the kind of anonymous heroes in that story, who save the world from the big evil thing, and then like just a spell kind of gets cast where everyone just forgets that they even did it, so they're truly anonymous in the end of it or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much the story behind that. If you've played that game or want to look up a summary of that, that's really just all. It's just a narration of that game, essentially.
That would explain a lot, actually, because I was going to ask you about the little after the bridge part, the bridge solo part where you have that little it sounds like a Mario level up. Okay, I get it now.
That was cool. That was we didn't come up with that. Our producer Stephen Klein, he added that in there in one of the mixes. Is like I didn't know if you would hate this or not. We were like, no, this is awesome. Like keep it in there. So it works for the song. But
yeah, I thought it was I knew it was some kind of video game. Like I said, I just didn't know which one because there's so many video games now. But I would never guessed it was Final Fantasy. That's pretty cool. So you're talking like the first one on like the NES, right?
Yeah, the very first one, and like the Warriors of Light are like a recurring theme throughout. I think they're about to come out with like the 16th of these Final Fantasy games, but just to keep it, reasonable. I was just like, I'm just going to do it about the very first one. So yeah, that's the story behind that.
Cool. It's been a long time since I played that one on NES. I mean, I used to play like everything because I could rent games, and so you would just like write down like the little serial number on the back at the rental store, so you keep getting the same one when it had the batteries and stuff in it. Remember?
Yeah.
And, so you wouldn't lose your save.
that was like one of the first games that had like a save function or whatever. So
yeah, it was that, and like Legend of Zelda had like a battery in it. And then you have to like keep track of which one was in stock to rent, so you could like get your save game and hope some asshole didn't erase it.
Yeah.
I would usually just re-rent them until I was done with them. So that was my way around that.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, it was the way to do it. Now it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
foreign concept anymore. It's like what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So oh,
That's
cool,
definitely
man.
some elder millennial shit right there.
It is. Yes, it is. R.I.P. Flick Video.
Yeah.
You're a big part of my childhood.
Yep.
So moving on to Burner, the first single you released for this album, and
Hmm.
it's pretty self-descriptive. This song is a damn a burner.
Yeah.
So I read it was a
That's
sequel to
yeah.
another song that you had.
Yep. We have a our last album is called The End. The first
Nice.
track on that is called Grave Master.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I guess, yeah, that's, I guess, like an original story. Just basically like just like, yeah, our other guitar player, Chris Millard, one of his things he used to say, like when he was like pissed off at you, like is like in like a joking way, be like, oh, you need to just fucking go to the graves. Like die, I guess, go to the
Yeah.
graves and
What else
die.
could it
So
be?
we started calling him Grave Master,
Nice.
just as a joke. And then we're like, all right, well, like he wrote that song and he also wrote Burner. Um, so I was like, all right, we're gonna call this song Grave Master, and like it's just gonna be about some like asshole necromancer who got kicked out of like wizard school for like doing the dark shit, and he gets his revenge on everybody by raising an undead army and overrunning the country that he lives in and just turning them all into zombies.
Right.
And then Chris came to the table with Burner, and we didn't know we were going to call it Burner, but we were all like, "Oh man, this one's a fucking burner."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like we just in practice, like we call it Burner. That just kind of became its like, you know how every song you write like has its real name and then just like the name that you call it before it has a name.
Yep.
This one became that name just carried on to be its real name. So I was like, all right, how can I write a song about a burner? What do you want to burn? Oh, sorry, my cat's
No, it's
jumping up
good.
here. Yeah. Um, what was I saying? Yeah. So what do you kill with burning? Zombies. Oh, hey, we got a song about like a necromancer with zombies and stuff. So like the concept I came up with is like a generation down the road after the grave master kills everybody. There's like a few survivors and they like go into hiding and they learn that fire is all they can use to like kill the zombies.
Sure.
So they like train and train, and then a few generations later, like they're the burner core, and they kind of come back and kill the grave master, get rid of all of them by just using fire, and they've all got like medieval flamethrowers and shit. So it's
Nice.
just
Yeah.
that's just kind of the song, and you know it's both songs are kind of like a tongue in cheek sort of thing. I mean, it's like in burn or like I go fuck you and you shouldn't die stuff,
Yes.
and that was just
That was something I
shit I
was going to
started.
ask you about in
Yeah,
that in the album. Seems
I
very
started
recurring
doing
theme.
that. Yeah, I started doing that as like a joke during practice, and then like I did it one time during a show. We were playing with the band Mega Colossus, who you might know of, but they're another excellent North Carolina band, and their singer Sean, like as soon as I went like "fuck you" at that part, like he like cracked up laughing, and like everybody loves it. So I was like, all right, we gotta keep that in there and make it like a real part of it. But I think it kind of fits the sort of attitude of the song or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, to be
that's
honest with
kind
you,
of
man,
yeah,
the first 100 times I listened to it, uh, probably not even exaggerating, really.
yeah.
I thought it was just because you're mad at the way the country was going and just wanted to burn the fucking country down. I honestly thought
Well, yeah,
I honestly thought it was just like a fuck it, let's start over kind of song. Really
yeah.
did.
Hey, yeah, you could definitely read that into it. We've never really done political songs, although we have like we all have our pretty firm politics, but like our next album, I think we're trying to kind of move away from our songs are all about a fantasy thing or a video game thing, and it's basically gonna be like a concept album that's like conspiracy based stuff, like
Oh,
kind of going
nice.
back to the Blue Oyster Cult, the cult rock kind of
Yeah.
shit. Um, I'm still trying to figure out how lyrically to pull all of it together, and we need to write the album too. But we're changing tack on that, and it won't be openly political. It won't be like fuck this guy, fuck that guy. It's going
I
to be
know
kind
what you
of
mean.
more like mysterious Blue Oyster Cult, like secret treaties type shit. Like what does it necessarily mean? But
Yeah.
so anyway, that's the hope for the future. But yeah,
Yeah, because the things I was wondering when you say "fuck you" and "eat shit and die," I was like, this has got to be like just like fuck the way this country's going with everyone just at each other's throat for Team R or Team D or Team Blue or Team Red. Let's just burn it all
Yeah,
down and start over. And that's really what I thought the song is about.
yeah. That's probably
And I was totally
it's
with
my
it too, by the
belief
way.
that it'll probably end up at that point somewhere anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree. All right, man. Well, moving on. By the way, I need to say this that every solo in this album is fucking fantastic, dude. Like, so I'm
oh,
gonna say
thank
that
you,
now and
thank you.
never have to mention it again. It's just unspoken the rest of the way that every solo in this damn album is fucking awesome. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
our I I consider myself a good guitar player. Chris, I've said his name a million times. Chris, our other guitar player, like he is, like I think he's one of the best players on the planet. Like he's like technical, but still like you can just feel like the fire in his playing. He's a
Mhm.
very emotional guitar player. I think my solos are a little more like laid back, I guess, more like symmetrical in a way. But his are just pure fucking like fire and emotion, and it comes through in his playing. Like he also plays in Mega Colossus, who I mentioned earlier.
Right.
And when they were recording their last album, Riptime, he was playing a lot of the demos for me. And they have another like virtuoso guitar player named Bill Fisher. And I would be like, it's like, okay, like this solo, like that's your solo. Like I can just tell it, even though you're both just like playing a million miles an hour. Like I can tell this is you. He's like, yeah, you got it. So 100%, I can tell when he's playing a solo. It's incredible. He's got a style of his own, and he's yeah, one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I got no reason to disagree with that statement. Until someone does better, it is what it is. But moving on to Silent Circle. Now, I heard on when you were on Mark's podcast about this was dedicated to some fallen friends, including Carlos Denosian, who I had
Yep.
met. I had correspondence with him a couple times about him playing over here with
Okay.
Salvation.
Yeah.
But I also met him when he was filling for Weed Eater
Yep.
once. They played over here. So
Hmm.
yeah, he was a cool guy, and it wasn't too long after I met him he passed. So yeah,
Yeah.
this
It
song,
was.
finding out this song was dedicated
Yeah.
to him and some other people I don't know was really cool. And this song is pretty powerful, man. This is like a really good funeral send off song. Like it's really like uplifting, even though they're gone. It's like they're the body's gone, but the power remains. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I dig
Yeah.
that.
That's something we wanted to get across in it as well for sure. And yeah, like three out of the four of us, like in the band, like lost a parent all within like a couple 2 to 3 years of each other.
Yep.
If that number is wrong, like sorry, Chase and Chris, but we all really like bonded over that. Um, and it was actually Chris. Like I wrote the lyrics for this, but Chris came to the song. He's like, "This is what I want it to be about." If you want to write the lyrics, and I said, "Okay, I'll do that." And it just has this like it switches to the major key for the chorus, and I was like, "This is really uplifting." And like I just want the message to be like exactly what she says. Like, yeah, like these people are gone from our lives. That chapter is over. We've turned the page, but they're still a part of the story. They're still influencing what we do. They're still important to who we are, and in that way they are very much still with us, I
Yeah.
guess. So that's what I hope to get across with the lyrics for this song.
Yeah, I actually wish you wrote this back in 2014 because I lost uncle, my grandfather on my mom's side, and my dad within 6 month span. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
it
you're
was a rough year. Yeah. So
yeah, well, you are part of the silent circle then, my friend.
but a song like this, man, probably would lift my spirits a lot. If it had been
Hmm.
written. So but it's written now. So whenever the next time comes, which it does. It will. At least I'll have
it
this to fall
always
back
does,
on.
yeah.
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 Yeah. So let's get to the next song, which is a video game that I am fucking terrible at. Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lore in that game is so cool. I read up on it. Micah, our guitar player, was like telling me some stuff about it. Because
Hmm.
he finished it, but I suck at those kind of games. So I didn't get past the first level. Like I was just like I was done. Like the first
Yeah.
random enemy kicked my ass. Like, what the hell? I can't. What is this game?
That's a very hard game, and it's like a really punishing game. The first time I tried to play it, it was kind of the same thing. But then um, there was a period of my life for a couple of years where I was a bartender. And me and my wife were kind of on opposite schedules. I was working at night; she was working during the day. So during the day, like I kind of was just able to do whatever. So I just played video games a lot of the day. So I just like really focused in on this game and like really beat it, and like it became one of my favorite games ever. But it's I would say it's probably my favorite representation of like Lovecraftian type shit outside of the actual stories of Lovecraft or whatever. And I kind of tried to like distill this story as best I could through the lyrics, and still kind of I mentioned Blue Oyster Cult, occult rock. I kind of try to give that a little bit of that vibe to it. I mentioned Harvesters of Eyes, which is one of the songs on Secret Treaties, but like plucking people's eyes out and like putting them on you to like sort of see these like cosmic beings that you can't understand as a central theme in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
It's a very Lovecraftian thing or whatever. So I feel like the makers of Bloodborne were probably influenced by Harvesters of Eyes, because like in those first three albums, like the most occult weird albums, when they had I forget his name, but the guy they had, their manager, Sandy, whatever his name was, like writing a lot of lyrics for him at that time. There's like multiple references to like eyes and like removing eyes and plucking out eyes and shit. And like, it's just really like weird and cool. And just, it kind of really fires off the imagination, but I wanted to try to kind of channel that sort of just kind of insane feeling through Fear the Old Blood. This is one of the ones that I wrote completely myself, and it's probably the one I'm the most proud of on the album, because it's tough to make a ballad type song and get people on board with it, especially metalheads. Like metalheads either like hate ballads or they're okay with them, but like if they hate them, they really fucking hate them. So
yeah, I've always been kind of like, without slow, you can't really appreciate speed.
Exactly, like
it's like you gotta have the contrast of yin and yang.
I love Rain and Blood. And for Slayer, it's okay because Slayer you can't have it any other way. But if you do an album like that's all the way, like super fast, super hard, super heavy the whole way, like it doesn't feel as heavy. We've always tried to be dynamic, and I feel like it makes the heavy stuff pop more. I feel like it makes the quiet stuff pop more. It's kind of a thing we try to do in this band. We miss like the 70s where you have like a band like Rush or something, like do all kinds of music on like one album. And we don't really go that far out as like say something like Rush does, but like I don't feel like we need to or want to be like extremely focused on one style of metal. We try to get everything we like in the songs that we write. So and kind of give everybody something to enjoy, I guess.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. Like you were saying, like Slayer is always like a million miles an hour, but I would say like the song Seasons of the Abyss, like that's one of their hit songs, but it starts out slow.
They do
just gradually
they do slow
up.
They do slow it down a bit on South of Heaven, and it's really cool.
Yeah. By the way, my favorite drum solo, probably, or not drum solo, but drum fill of all time is actually in Seasons in the Abyss. It's that first Lombardo, like really
I know
fast,
exactly what you're
like
talking
vicious tom roll, man.
Yeah,
that shit makes my hair on my arm stand up every time I hear it, man. It's so great.
Yeah, you can't beat Lombardo, man. Yeah. He's awesome.
By the way, have you heard his solo album he just released?
I have not.
It's just drums.
You said just
with synth, with like a synth background going. It's quite different, but it's actually not boring as I thought it might be. So
yeah, I'd love to check. I just recently discovered like a year after it came out, like Kirk Hammett put out a solo album.
Yeah, was it Portals or something like that? I think
Portals. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like felt like movies. It felt like John Carpenter plus like Kirk Hammett, like doing Kirk Hammett stuff over.
That would have been a pretty cool collaboration because John Carpenter's pretty good himself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love John. When he put out his like solo album, I like bought that immediately. Like John Carpenter's huge influence on me. He's probably my favorite movie director too. So
man, classics, man. Up until about Gods of Mars, kind of wagging on that one, but
Yeah, that one and Vampires, they weren't great, but I feel like he didn't hang on too much longer after that. So
Yeah.
now
Are
he's
you
just
talking about
kind of the elder statesman.
the one with James Woods, that Vampires?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
I didn't
okay,
hate
fair
it,
enough.
but I haven't watched it in a
Maybe I'll
while.
watch it again. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, so
That's probably the last time I watched it
I
too. But
yeah.
my taste has changed, so I might not like it anymore. I don't know, but
Yeah. Hey, I might like it now, so
yeah, it's on Netflix, by the way. I just saw it the other day. I was like, hey, I should watch
okay.
this again. Funny you brought
I'll
it
put
up.
it on tonight. I'll put it
Yeah,
on
why
tonight.
not?
Fuck it. I
Yeah,
love
fuck it.
James Woods too, so
Isn't Bon Jovi in that also? If I remember correctly,
I don't remember, but that
I
would be
think he
cool.
was. But maybe that was maybe he was in the sequel. I remember there was like a straight to video sequel. Maybe he was in that.
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
I know way
So.
too much useless information, dude. It's like
Well,
let's
I do
move
too.
on.
Just I don't know that useless information.
Yeah. Yeah, before I learned how to talk to girls, I would just like watch movies and just
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was the guy on a Y2K recording music videos on VHS in case like the world ended and I couldn't watch these videos anymore. I would like wait. MTV2 had like a countdown of like every video in like alphabetical order by band and then by chronological um
Yep.
order. So like on 12 o'clock midnight, I have my damn like 12 pack of VHS cassettes, like the 120-minute ones, and like I would just pop it in and then like ACDC block come on, just hit record for all the ACDC songs, hit stop, wait for my next band to come on, record. Sad part is I still have those tapes, dude.
Fuck yeah.
It's a sad reminder of my 20s.
Hell yeah.
But all right. So this next song, 7 Days of Fire. I got a lot to say about this one. This might be the
Okay.
finest collection of riffs I've ever heard in recent memory. Dude,
Thank
there's
you.
so
Thank
much
you.
on this song, dude. Like, how the fuck did you write this song?
I don't know. I remember when I sent the first demo to the band guys, Chris like played it for his wife and she was like, that song's fucked up. I don't like it, which
Yeah.
now she likes it, but it's just like without drums, it's just like a bunch of riffs.
Yeah, sure.
Um I will say my writing process, like I will take what it all formed around it doesn't really end up being the main riff in the song, but the first riff was when everything drops out except for just my guitar. I'm going dun 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 dun. That was a riff I came up with, and like I kind of constructed everything around that.
Yeah.
And there were lots of things that I just kind of worked and reworked past. There's always your first riff that's like kind of your first instinct, and sometimes it's best to go with your first instinct. I always try to take things and come back to them and like rework them a bunch, and like that approach worked out really well on this song. And a big album for me, influential album for me, is And Justice for All. That album is me and Chris call it the Riff Bible. All those songs are just like insane constructions of just these just malevolent riffs.
Yeah.
And this was kind of my best attempt at doing that. And I think I did pretty good. Like our drummer was like, yeah, I really want like just if I had one wish, like it would be that like a James Hetfield could hear this song.
Yeah.
He
might.
he would probably
Yeah.
fucking love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, speaking of Chase, like Chase really gave this song life that I did not think it would have in the beginning. Like, there's the one riff where everything kind of drops out, and I'm just kind of riding the guitar, going like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, dun, where the verse comes in, basically. The drum part Chase does there is not at all what I envisioned. It's very like weird, where it's mostly just back, but then he just like hits like the and he just sort of hits like the snare on this like offbeat, and it's so like fucked up and crazy.
Very Lars Ulrich.
Yeah, it's weird the way he does it. But yeah, like he gives this song like more life than it would have had otherwise. But yeah, like riff wise, like I'm very proud of this song. So yeah, like yeah, it's just it took a lot of work and a lot of reworking. I'll say this one probably took the longest of all the songs on the album, but I thought this would be the hardest one for us to get together as a band, but ironically, it's like kind of our best one that we do, and like we play it every set, and it like kills every time. Like we just can't fuck this song up. I don't know why. It seems like it'd be really difficult, but like we're all fucking locked in on this one.
Yeah, man, it's super heavy and got such groove to it, man. Like I told Micah, like, man, if there's one thing about this song I could say is like I wish I could listen to it for the first time every single time. Because man, it
Yeah,
just always like the first time I listened to it, man, it was just like, man, this riff is heavy, man. And then it's like, man,
yeah,
this verse riff is like fucking really heavy. And then it's like, and
yeah,
then like you get to like the part with like the guitar pick, like the clean guitar. And then
hmm
like you get to the riffing, it's like dun 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 dun. It's like, dude, what the
yeah,
fuck, man? And then
yeah.
like it has like more riffs after that. Like, holy shit, man, this fucking song is amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Congratulations on
just
that, man.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. It was me trying to do yeah, like an And Justice for All type song. And yeah, like I said, I think it really succeeded
Yeah,
at what we wanted to do. It's one of the ones I'm more proud of on this one for sure.
yeah, yeah. Lyrically, is that about nuclear holocaust?
Yes,
Okay.
it's about a specific kind of Holocaust. Um, have you ever watched any of the Studio Ghibli like Miyazaki movies like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, anything like
I
that?
know of them, but I've not watched them like
Okay,
clearly.
yeah, they're like anime movies. One of the earliest ones from like 1984, I think it's called Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, and it's about like a society like eons after like the world is ended or whatever. But
Okay.
basically, like every country on Earth like constructs these like just doomsday robots called end up calling them the God Warriors, and they
Right.
just destroy the entire world in nuclear fire, and then like like however many years later, like a lot of years, I guess I'm popping up on my screen here.
I know.
Okay. Um, However many generations later, that humans have kind of like reignited um, civilization somewhat on a much smaller scale, but it exists again. And basically, one of these like reignited civilizations, countries or whatever, is like finds one of the God warriors and is like reconstructing it to try and like destroy the world again. But one thing I try to do, not necessarily destroy the world again, but like use it against their enemies to become dominant. And it's all about like, no, you can't do that, blah blah blah. It's a great movie. I'd recommend it to anybody, even if you're not a fan of anime, which I'm like kind of not. I like some of it, but like I'm not. I don't consider myself an anime guy at all. But
Right.
the Miyazaki stuff's a little bit different, more accessible, I guess, to people who aren't like anime guys.
I know what
Um,
you mean.
yeah,
I've been getting slowly into anime a little bit, like
yeah,
over the years, like more accepting of it because it is kind of
yeah,
a weird style. Like
yeah,
it's always dubbed and like it never seems the voice
yeah,
acting never really seems to fit the
yeah.
what's on the screen.
And
But
the
go ahead.
the good thing about the Miyazaki movies is like a lot of them have like very good dubs with professional voice actors.
Right.
I think I can't remember all the people who are in Nausicaa, but Patrick Stewart's one of the voice actors. Mark Hamill's a voice
Oh,
actor in
really?
it.
Okay.
I can't remember the rest, but there's a lot of like pretty prominent people, and it's a very like, they put a lot of effort into the dub. But back to the lyrics, one thing like I feel like I'm very good at is like kind of picking a perspective or a voice and writing in it.
Mhm.
And this song I kind of write from the perspective of the God Warriors, like just created to destroy and then discarded. And like I kind of try to get into their headspace a little bit. And it's sort of like, tell me, do you think we were worth the price? Kind of this sort of childlike, like, did we do a good job? Kind of
Yeah, I
thing.
was
And I
actually
sort
going
of
to
try
mention
to,
that
yeah,
that part of the lyrics at the end, toward the end, is it's pretty awesome, man. I really,
yeah.
I like that whole verse.
That's a great dramatic conceit that I exploit a ton lyrically. I do it again in a later song
Yeah.
on this very album, but like trying to get in the headspace of the villain or the destroyer, and like it's like a sympathy for the devil, Paradise Lost type thing. I like to take that kind of tack, so that's what I do in this one.
What's the name of that movie again?
Nausicaa, and
Oh,
it's Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind.
Okay.
If you've
Yeah, I'll check it
if
out.
you've got HBO Max, it's all on there. But otherwise, I'm sure you can download it from somewhere. But yeah, it's a fucking awesome movie. It's so good. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I will watch that. I recently discovered one about a year ago, anime called Ninja Scroll. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh, that was like my first one. We're talking about
Really?
Blockbuster and shit like that earlier. Like I rented that at Blockbuster and I was like, holy shit, anime is fucking cool. Like that and fucking Akira. And then
Yes.
a lot of it past that, I was like, oh, this like is not that cool.
Yeah. Ninja Scroll
But
was
that shit, like, oh, Ninja Scroll,
mind-blowingly
fuck, dude.
good.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll
Super
fucks,
violent
man.
and really
Yeah,
fucking weird. Like, it had like a
yeah.
lot of rape in it and stuff. I mean, like, not I'm advocating, but like the fact that that was like in
No, I know what you mean.
1986 in like Japan, which is kind of like a
Yeah,
very conservative, like at least sexually, like kind of place.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was like kind of
I
mind blowing
think
that that was
that's
going
yeah.
on. Yeah.
A lot of that kind of it's very repressed there, and
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
speaking like I'm some Japan expert or whatever, but like
I
that's the
mean,
impression that I get,
dude,
you know.
yeah, I only know what I know, what I've seen, but I've seen Ninja Scroll and knowing like a little bit about their culture and stuff, it was like very
Yeah,
risque for
it's
something coming out of
it's
Japan.
wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild ass movie.
Yeah.
I
It's
haven't
on
seen it
Hulu
in a
right
while.
now.
Like, yeah,
For everybody
okay, yeah.
listening.
I remember renting that at Blockbuster, and my parents being like, "Oh, it's okay. It's a fucking
It's a
cartoon."
cartoon.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
remember
"No,
me and my
dude."
cousin rented a Vampire Hunter D
Oh yeah.
when it first came out on like it might have been DVD by then, probably VHS, but yeah, we'd like watch it at night and stuff when like our parents weren't around. It was like, pretty adult. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Let's get to the next one. Last Words, Ruins Ride. Is this Tolkien?
Mhm. Yep. It's
Thank God. I was
another
like, man,
song. Yeah.
this is some kind of weird like Legend of the Seeker or some shit. I'm gonna be really mad at myself for not getting this, but okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we got that
It's
established.
another yeah. It's another one written in voice, but not a villainous voice. So it's the Battle of Pelennor Fields. If you remember from the movies or the book, when the Rohan shows up to the battle to help Gondor,
Yeah.
King Theoden does the whole big speech or whatever, like ride to ruin and world's ending, shake our spears, that kind of shit. It's the big speech, they know, they're probably fucking gonna die because they
Mhm.
see like the huge host of Mordor. So my tack here was to just write from the perspective of just a single anonymous rider of Rohan.
Right.
Just one guy who's like, man, like I know I'm gonna die. I know this isn't even technically our fight, but I know I have to do this now. I know I have to die here for my wife and my child.
Right.
I have to do it because if I don't do it now, like they're going to be knocking at our doors in a few months' time, kind of thing. So I was just kind of trying to get in just like a regular guy's head, not one of the great and the good of the Lord of the Rings. And that's I feel like thematically that's appropriate for Lord of the Rings because the whole point of the whole arc of it, like I'm a huge like Tolkien head or whatever. I've read the Silmarillion and all that shit many times. Kind of the overarching theme is like the great of the world, like their pride like brings them down and like they end up not being able to do what needs to be done. And eventually it just takes like Gandalf realized like eventually we just need these like fucking hobbits who are stand-ins for like just regular everyday people in the story.
Right.
Eventually like that's it just needs to be the regular everyday people who like are able to do this because like our pride is getting in our way, like and has for the past 3 ages of men and elves kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was going for with that. Sorry to get too deep on my Tolkien love, but like
No. You can never go deep
I'm
enough
a
with Lord
yeah.
of the Rings. Yeah. Oh, real
Love
quick
that
on a
shit.
side note, what was your verdict on Rings of Power? Did you watch it or did you like it?
I watched the first couple of episodes and I think it looked good. There was some neat stuff in it. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh no, there's a black elf," which I didn't care about that. Like that character is like was one of the more interesting
Yeah, I mean,
stories
there's
to
such a thing
me.
as Dark
I
Elf.
can't remember his name. Yeah, his story was one of the more interesting things to me. But like they made Gilgalad one of the greatest fucking kings of the elves look like a fucking dope. Like Galadriel comes back and is like, "No, they're coming back." And he's like, "Oh, I don't think they are. Like you're dumb, Galadriel."
Yeah.
You don't have to make Galadriel look cool at fucking Gilgalad's expense. Like that guy's like one of the fucking big dudes. So anyway, I watched the first couple of episodes. There were things about it that I liked. There were things about it I didn't like. But it takes a lot to get me to watch a fucking show these days. Like I have to really, really like it to keep going with it. I'm sure if I watch the rest of it, I'll be like, oh, this is okay. But my buddy kind of spoiled the rest of it for me, and there were some things that seemed really stupid to me, which I can't remember now because he just told me to. But like one of the things he told me, I was like, no, that's totally the whole like point of it. Like it's completely opposite of what it's supposed to be. But I can't be specific because I can't remember it. But
Sure.
yeah, anyway, yeah. Long story short, watched a couple episodes. I didn't like it enough to keep watching it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was afraid I would just like be mad it existed, so I just didn't even bother. I mean, like
Yeah,
it looks
like when
really
it was,
cool. It's like, dude, if you're
yeah,
putting all this effort into something and like you're not even really using the right, like you're not using
yeah,
the rights, like the actual like Tolkien stuff. Like you're just like making shit up because there's like
yeah,
a space in one of the books that you can like make up
yeah.
a backstory.
And that's the thing. They didn't
No.
have the rights to the first stage, so they can't even like reference all this shit that's super important to like the
Yeah.
story they're telling or whatever. So that was kind of bad. They couldn't even mention, like Finrod or whatever, Galadriel's older sibling, who's like one of the big fucking guys of the first and second age, but they didn't have the rights to him, so they couldn't talk about him. Sorry, my dog's back here puffing and puffing.
No, no worries.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It didn't need to be done, but like I'm not one of these nerds who's like anything like you can't do anything like it's all sacred. You can't like I'll give anything a chance. And I feel like I did, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I might watch it one of these days, maybe when it's done or gets canceled or something. I'll see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just kind of like
If
reading up on what the writers were doing. I was like, I don't really think I'm down with this, to be honest. It just
yeah,
doesn't really seem legit. I don't know.
no,
Like, yeah. So it's like if you're gonna put
you
all that
you
effort
can't.
into something, just make up your own shit. Like then it wouldn't really
Yeah,
matter. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we need new new shit. Like we're just trying to playing in these sandboxes we've been playing in. I feel the same way about like the Marvel movies and stuff. Like I've watched several of those and enjoyed them, but like I feel like the last like new thing that happened that like people kind of took hold of and were like, this is cool. That was a new thing was like the John Wick movies.
yes. Which I still haven't seen
you
four
know,
yet, but I do enjoy the first.
I haven't either. I heard it's really good, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first three. I think they kind of go in descending. Like the first one is my favorite, the second one is second favorite, third one is my third favorite. But people were saying the fourth is like sick as hell, so I need to go see it. But yeah,
Yeah.
the first John Wick was a huge surprise, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was like one of those movies like I didn't go see it in theaters, obviously. I was like, okay, I'll wait.
Mm,
And then it was on one day. I was like, oh yeah, I
yeah,
forgot about this. And I watched it. I was like, damn, it's actually pretty cool. And then
yeah.
two was good. I thought three was my favorite so far.
Okay.
That
No,
fight
I
in the
really liked all
library.
three of them. Like when I say they were kind of descending order,
Yeah.
like that's kind of the way it went. But I enjoyed every last one of them.
The fight in the
Good
library with
shit.
the book is like when he kills the guy with the book was pretty badass.
Oh yeah, the fucking NBA player Boban Marjanovic or whatever.
Yeah. No,
That
that
was
kind of
sick, dude.
cemented like this is my favorite one so far just because of this one.
Yeah, that was cool. Like the set pieces are always fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And then the part with the dogs in it with Halle Berry, the character and stuff, was pretty
Oh
awesome.
yeah, dude. Yeah, that was sick. That was sick. I got yeah.
All right, well, this is about Heavy as the Head, not John Wick. So we'll move on to Adventurers. Is this a
Adventurers.
is this a song about y'all's road trips by any chance?
Yeah, it's precisely that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Specifically, it's about when we went to play Legions of Metal in 2019 in Chicago. It's a long story, but I'll get into it. It's just sort of like we're gonna do a fantasy like a metaphor of just that whole trip because it was very eventful.
Yeah.
It started out we started in Wilmington, North Carolina, so to get to Chicago, we ended up going through West Virginia. West Virginia has toll roads. So on our trips, like Pills, our bass player, he's always the driver. I'm always the navigator. Um, we don't really take turns driving. We have before, but like he's usually just content to drive, and I'll just sit in the passenger seat and navigate. So this time I was like, oh, like I found like an alternate route around all these tolls. Like we're gonna do that. So like let's take
Right.
this exit here. Just like on my phone, I'd found some roads. West Virginia, as you probably know, is a very mountainous
Sure.
mountainous state.
Yes.
I'm from Western North Carolina, so
Oh, what part?
I'm from Cullowhee.
I'm up here in near Asheville.
Oh shit! Well,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Hence
Well,
the
yeah,
Steel and Stone booking. So yeah.
yeah. um, but we ended up like just going up like a dirt road, going up a mountain. And we made it up to the top, and we're like, all right, cool, like, we can handle this because we're driving a big Suburban with a trailer full of gear. Like we were
Yeah.
worried about it, so we're like, all right, we made it fine. It wasn't a problem. Like the engine wasn't running too hot. It was fine. We're going down the mountain though. We're going down at a nice normal pace. We're all kind of giddy because we're nervous about it, like hey, giggling and shit.
Yeah.
Um, Pill's driving, like he looks over. He's just like a very like calm, even keeled guy at all times. Um, and he was just like, you know what's crazy right now? And I was like, what, Pill? He's like, I'm not really even in control of the bourbon right now. The Suburban, we call it the bourbon. We were just basically sliding down the mountain. And we made it down to the bottom, and it was okay. We didn't like fall off the mountain or anything, obviously. But we get out to kind of reassess where we are because it looks like we're like, way back in the shit.
Yeah.
Like our big ravine next to us, the dirt road keeps going, and we smelled like the brakes just fucking like cooking. Like we walked outside, and it was like, oh man, that doesn't smell good. So we sort of like we're stressed about the situation, and there's like it's like I said, there's like a ravine at the bottom of a ravine. There's like a little creek and like a bunch of just tires in the creek or whatever. There's also some tires just on the side of on the side of the road. So we just like start just throwing these tires down the fucking ravine just to like kind of let off some steam. And that's kind of like I think we mentioned it in the song, like launching dead weight into the valley below. We bid goodbye, and it's on to the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that references. But yeah, we did that. We get back on the road a little bit, and like the a real road is actually not that far ahead. So we're like, all right, cool, hell yeah, we made it. We're like we didn't have any shows in West Virginia or anything, but we were like, we're gonna have to stop somewhere for the night on the way. So I had a hotel booked for us in West Virginia, and it was down in the holler, a town called Comfort, West Virginia. But yeah, really just like really down in the holler. The hotel was pretty nice or whatever. But they turned off the internet at 7 p.m. and did not turn it back on until like 7 a.m. in the morning.
What the hell? Why?
So like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but that's what they did. And we did not get any signal there. So we're like staying there. And like, as the internet's about to turn off, like I send a Facebook message to my wife, like, well, they're about to cut the internet off. I'm not gonna be able to talk to you. And my wife was we were playing in Chicago. We were playing a show in Detroit before we played Chicago. She was flying into Detroit, was going to meet us there, was going to run merch for us in Chicago. So the next morning we're getting out, we're trying to ride out, and there's like a truck that stops us as we're trying to ride out. They're like, yeah, there was like a rock slide, like you can't go this way. We're like, oh fuck. So we end up riding around for 2 more hours, like asking directions to like get out to the main highway and shit. And once we get to the main highway, like my wife is already in Detroit waiting for us, like thinking we're gonna be there in like an hour or two.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, so you're gonna be when we get out of the highway, I'm like, you're gonna be actually waiting for us for another like 6 hours or so until we get to Detroit. And she was like, fuck. But that isn't really referenced in the song, but it's part of the wackiness of the story. We did stop in Point Pleasant for the to see the Mothman Museum for a little bit. Just kind of popped in. But we get to the show. We played. That's where I mentioned something in the lyrics, like a tower. The first one, the mountain comes in view. That's the mountain we go up, and then the tower comes in view. That's like the Sears Tower. Reason in song, we add our voice. That's us playing the festival. And the festival went really well. We made a lot of friends. Sold some t-shirts. Had a good time. On the way back, the radiator cracked in the Suburban. I don't really know. Like I know very basic shit about cars, but the other guys in the band are pretty good with cars and stuff. So we pull off to a Advanced Auto Parts in Dayton, Ohio. on the way back. The car is just like, we're stopping every 30 minutes, just pour water on the radiator so it's not overheating. um, we buy a whole radiator, and the guys are basically like, all right, Chris particularly, it's like, all right, if it comes to it, we'll just like pull off the side of the road. I will like install this radiator to get the rest of the way home. It was like 200 something bucks. We made enough money off the show. We were able to pay for it. But we also got a bottle of Stop Leak. Just poured it in there to kind of plug up the leak. And ultimately it did get us all the way back home, but it was slow going. It was almost a 24-hour drive from Chicago to Wilmington, NC. Wow. We did not stop really. And if you actually look at the inside cover of the album, that is a picture I took when we were about 30 minutes outside of Wilmington, and then I added some filters to it. Yeah. Nice. We're just pulled off to the side because we had to like pee or something. And I just like took that picture as the sun's kind of coming up. It's like, 7 a.m. or whatever time of day it was. We're 30 minutes out of town. Like, we're going to fucking make it. And I thought that was a really appropriate image to put in there. But yeah, we made it back to the practice space. We practiced in our bass player's parents' garage. We're very lucky for that. We don't have to pay for practice space.
Yeah.
But they're getting up. They're getting ready to go to work. So they're out there like, oh, hey, it was a good time, like talking to us, like, oh, ha, ha, what's up? And I was like, all right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all this practice here. But like, we've been on the road for 24 hours. I just want to go home and get in my bed and go to sleep right now. And they're like, oh shit, okay, sorry. So I got to drive back home, and like, yeah, like our chariot must fight for its life. No sleep or we fucking die. Like that's
nice.
The lyrics to that are basically just kind of like a fantasy retelling of just that trip or whatever. It was an adventure. So
I like the lines.
Long story, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I was just wondering. I figured it was something like that. Because you have the line of living off grease and cheap whiskey, which is pretty.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. And then
I remember I bought a bottle of Black Velvet. Just because I was like, oh, that's a cool name because I love that fucking song. Yeah. But it was like the bottom of the bottom shelf, like it was like rolling around on the fucking floor, that low of a shelf. It's like I brought that for the trip, and like it's still sitting in the practice space somewhere. It's just that fucking bad. Like we just don't even drink it. Yeah, it's that's a cheap whiskey, and yeah, we're just getting McDonald's and Wendy's and shit on the way down there. So.
What about the line, you can get on board or just eat shit? What is that reference? That's my favorite line in the whole album, but
yeah, I guess it's not really like a reference to anything in particular. It's just kind of another attitude line.
It just sounds
cool.
You
can, basically, you can get on board. You can just eat shit. We love to do the Bonded by Blood style gang vocals or whatever. Yeah. So I wanted to fit as many of those in this song as I can because it's just this is like Burner is like a fucking attitude song. Like that's kind of what we call these types of songs.
Yeah, great song, man. I like it a lot.
That's one Chris wrote. Chris is a fucking thrasher for sure. Like all his songs like they can be very thrashy.
Right.
And this one was just him fully just going to town. And all the soloing in this song is all Chris in this one. Like I don't take any solos on Adventures.
Cool. So how about Oath to Order, the closing song? What's the story behind this one lyrically?
Oath to Order is another video game song, and it's another writing and voice song. It's about kind of the weirdest Legend of Zelda game, Majora's Mask.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and it's sort
now
of.
Now that you say it totally makes sense. Like,
are you a Blind Guardian fan at all?
I wouldn't say fan, but I am familiar with them. Yes.
They have a song called Mordred Song, and Mordred is the bastard like incest son of King Arthur, who ends up being the guy who kills him in the end. He's like the ultimate villain of the King Arthur mythos. But Blind Guardian does a song called Mordred Song that's sort of like written from his point of view, and that was like kind of a big inspiration for this song, where I write it from the Skull Kid's point of view, who's like the villain, but he's sort of like a tragic villain who's just like he wants people to like him kind of thing, and it twists him in the end, and eventually he finds Majora's Mask, and it gives him ultimate power, and like he's like so fucking twisted by like just his desire to be loved and liked. He's like this little fucking jester guy that he's like he uses the power for really bad things and like tries to end the world, and And I don't know if you played that game, but it's the whole conceit is like the moon is going to crash into the earth in 3 days, and like every day it's like um on the dawn of the final day, 24 hours remain. So like I end the song, it's like on the dawn of the final day you'll understand. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that. And that was sort of I wrote the lyrics, but Pills, our bass player, is kind of the guy who decided what the song was going to be about, because he said like, oh yeah, the clean guitar parts sound kind of like Oath to Order from Majora's Mask. Like Majora's Mask is like, I don't want to say it's his favorite game. I don't want to speak for him, but he loves that game and he talks about it all the time. So I was like, okay, well we'll call this Oath to Order and we'll make it be about Majora's Mask. And I was like, does this like fit the vibe that you would like as a huge fan of the game? And he's like, yeah, this is perfect, great. So like,
Yeah.
we went with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the first few times I listened to it, I was actually kind of mad that you guys broke away from the slow and went like fast and heavy, because I was like, man, I was
Okay,
like, this song
that's
is
interesting.
really like this song is really actually really beautiful. Like the sound of it, like the guitar, like
Yeah,
when you come in like this almost like the Spanish style picking on the guitar part,
yeah,
I was like, and
yeah.
then you like just change abruptly. I was like, dude, they could have gone with this for like another 5 minutes. I would have been totally happy. It just had like
Okay,
the fast song as a separate track. But
yeah.
once
I
I
can
started
see
listening to
that, and
it and
I
got it, I was like, okay, I'm more accepting of this change
yeah,
now. And now that you say about the jester putting on the mask, I totally get it, because when he puts on the mask in the story in the song is when the tempo changes. So
yeah,
it kind of goes from like calm and peaceful to like really mischievous, like in an instant. So the
yeah,
song really changes like on a dime, dude. There's like no warning. Like
yeah,
it's just like kind of like, oh yeah, this is nice, and then it's like, bam, it's like, oh shit.
yeah.
So
No, I can appreciate that opinion for it. Like I know like one of the things we're talking about on the, because some people have been like in reviews, like all the reviews have been overwhelmingly positive of this album, but some of the reviews have been like, yeah, like this clean stuff, the clean part in this goes on too long, like blah blah blah.
oh no way, man.
So
If anything, you
yeah,
could have done it again. I would have been fine. So
yeah.
yeah,
We tend to agree, and I know on our next album, like I've got like a clean riff or whatever that we all really like, and Chris is like, we should just do like the whole fucking song's gonna be clean, like we need to like break break metalheads out of the idea that like every song needs to have like a heavy part, even though I guess that's what heavy metal is like heavy parts, but like you can't. We feel like you can't just lock yourself in a fucking box like that. Like we
right.
want to we want to do, and that's kind of why we have two ballads on this on this record, and that was like a conscious choice, um, just to kind of like we're. I'm not saying this is like, oh, we're like totally breaking new ground in heavy metal kind of thing, but like we're trying to do things our own way and the way we want things to sound, I guess. We're sort of putting things in the blender, I feel like, in our own way that's like a little bit different from everybody
Sure.
else, but yeah, we're not trying to be like this is, oh, we're trying to sound like X band from 1982. We're just trying to sound like ourselves and the shit we like, I guess. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we've made some choices that some people don't agree with, but they're choices. That's what they're there for. You don't have to agree with a choice. So if people don't like it, that's fine. That's your choice not to like it. But these are choices we've made, and either you agree with the choice or you don't. And you know, I'm glad to hear that you agree with the choice.
Yeah, I agree with every single choice on this album, dude. Like I said,
Yeah,
except for the first few times I listened to the last song, I was just kind of annoyed that it just didn't continue on with that real mellow stuff. Because that
yeah.
guitar
And
picking is
honestly,
actually
like, yeah,
really
I could see
beautiful
it.
stuff. I mean, it really is.
And like I said, that's another Chris Millard composition. And like I said, he's a fucking thrasher. For sure. Like I kind of feel like he couldn't help himself just to let
Right.
it go, like fucking bust it out at that point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a really cool fucking song, and we loved putting it together. We actually played it live for the very first time at our album release show this past
Nice.
Saturday. Um, we thought it would be one that would not come together live and sound good, but it actually was a lot easier than we thought it would be to do live. So it's just so like the clean part especially is so like it's not necessarily out of time, but like especially like playing the part on guitar and singing it, I can kind of feel like I'm out on an island, but so long as I practice it, like, I've got the time, excuse me, I've got the time in my head, and like it feels right. But it was a little tough for me and Chris to be playing the parts at the same time, with Pills doing the bass stuff with minimal drum intervention kind of thing.
Yeah.
You just feel kind of naked in a song like that. But that's what you like to do as a musician. You want to challenge yourself, and it ended up being a fun song that went over great live.
Cool, man. Yeah, I look forward. Hopefully, it'll be on the set list when you guys come up here. It is what it is.
Yeah, hey,
but I'll take anything I can get.
If that's one you want, we'll do it. I actually like doing it because it's one of the ones that's not too hard on my voice. So
sure, yeah.
It does get high in the end, but like it's a pretty easy song for me to do. So I'm on board.
Right. Hey, real quick, before we wrap up, on the song Man Eater Mildred, how did you get the little girls chanting on that song? Like who was that? Like, did you go to like a music class in an elementary school or something, or like how did you make that happen?
It wasn't little girls, it was like adult women.
Oh,
I
really?
got my wife and
okay.
her friend and another one of my friends' girlfriends at the time. I was just like, I just want to do like a gang vocal with just women.
Yeah, that's all I mean.
And
like,
that's all it was.
I always thought it was like little girls.
Like, yeah. they're like
insult to your
like
wife. I'm just
shouting
saying
like
to me.
No. And if you listen to the song Zig Zeon off our Four Weapons EP, my wife is a trained opera singer. She's a much better singer than me. She does there's a part in the middle of Zig Zeon that's like a vocal harmony, and she does the vocal harmony on that with me.
Is it the
I kind of do.
It's not like the chant Zig Zeon. It's like the Zig Zeon.
Zeon, Zig Zeon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a four-part harmony. I do two of the parts, and she does two of the parts.
That's the first time I've ever sang or tried to sing without no microphone or backing track. So forgive everyone for my terrible voice. But yeah, that's a cool song because I really like I like the chorus of that song, man. It's really catchy. It's almost like really kind of like bubblegum poppy in a way, like the way you just kind of like say it. But man, it's so cool because it's like about an alien. It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that one's I would say that's like our most known song for sure.
It's your highest one on Spotify plays. When I put it on today, it had like the top 5, and that one's like outnumbers like even of course the new album because it just came out like a month ago, but it was
it's
a pretty good one.
That one got some because it's another anime song randomly about Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam.
Okay.
Which is another one that I like, but that's another one that Pills and Chris they're obsessed with Gundam. So like we wanted to do a Gundam song, and it got onto like Gundam Reddit, and like Gundam fans kind of like circulated around. So it kind of got some traction because of the subject matter mainly.
Right. Cool, man. Well, dude, it's been really fun talking to you about this album. I don't think I showed the back off yet, but yeah. So here's the back. You can get this on their bandcamp or live shows. I highly recommend it. I will say
the rear cover is a direct homage to the rear cover of Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath.
You know what?
I sent that to the artist, and I sent the rear cover of Heaven and Hell. I was like, just do this, but as us.
I think you mentioned it, dude. Yeah, I get that, dude. That's pretty awesome.
We're not ripping it off. It's an homage.
Dude, I told Michael a long time ago. He's like, man, I'm afraid this riff sounds like this. Like, dude, if it came from a place without malicious intent or like just pure like I'm gonna rip this song off, like don't even worry about it. Because everything
I'm a big believer you can rip stuff off and use it in different contexts.
Sure.
Like the clean part in 7 Days of Fire. It's not a rip off, and it was not conscious that I did it, but it sounds very similar to Time What Is Time, the opening riff of Time What Is Time by Blind Guardian.
Right.
And people have been like, oh, that sounds like Time What Is Time. I'm like, yeah, I guess it does. I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't really sound like Time What Is Time because it's like in the middle of a song. It's used in a totally different context.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, everybody rips each other off. Like there's nothing. Hey, as I say in 7 Days of Fire, there's nothing new under the sun. So
yeah. Our last album, I had this weird idea to do a Black Sabbath tribute album, by
Oh hell yeah.
copying the we copied the format of the song Black Sabbath, and we used all Black Sabbath titles and lyrics for the lyrics and stuff. And we even did like I even did like the intro the same with like the thunder cracks at like 8 seconds in with the rain and church bells hitting on this second
Oh
and this
hell
second
yeah.
and this second. And then I built that, and then we just like copied the whole format, but we did like our own riff. But it's like very Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath inspired. It's called Altar of Sabbath. It's a tribute song. So it's like a cover song without
Sick.
covering the song. It's very bizarre, weird shit. So,
Yeah, sounds cool though.
yeah.
We did a Black
It
Sabbath
goes over
cover
pretty
set
well
one
actually. A
time.
lot of people
Yeah.
like it, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you the I'll send you some Bandcamp links.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, man, is there anything else you want to promote? Like shows coming up in the immediate future? Any new EPs coming out, stuff like that?
We're writing for another EP that will I mentioned the Conspiracy album that will be
Can't wait.
farther in the future, but early next we're hoping by the end of the year to record a new like 4 to 5 song EP. It's going to be called Vigor, Vigour. Just because that's a cool fucking way to spell it.
Yes.
The idea behind that is like it's all going to be songs to like work out to or exercise to, so they're going to be kind of like steady tempo, just like not necessarily upbeat songs, but like energetic type songs. Because like I like to lift weights, I like to run, I like to exercise. I lost over the past like few years, I lost like 100 pounds, and a lot of it's been like diet and exercise and stuff. Thank you.
I might have found it. No. Or something.
Yeah, I just mailed it to you. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I got it, dude. If you autograph your fat, dude, I'll take it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. But I've always got like a specific type of music that I like to listen to when I lift. Like I mentioned the new Metallica album. Like I think it's good weightlifting music because it's like not extremely complex, but it's like some pretty cool riffs and it's pretty like steady mid tempo. So like,
yeah,
just like I want to do like just an EP of just music that you can work out to, and it's gonna be called Vigor because vigorous shit. So hopefully that'll be out early next year. But we've got a couple of the songs written for it. So yeah, we're got to finish writing and said hopefully record it towards the end of the year.
Nice. If you want to do a so you said it's about conspiracy theories. I know a guy who does a great Jesse Ventura impression that you can use for some spoken word if you need it, and he would be down for it. I'm almost sure of it. It would be amazing.
That would be sick because I fucking love Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, if you want conspiracy theories and you need a part like a spoken word, dude, I got the hookup for you, man. Yeah, I sure.
Yeah,
do.
I won't say I take every conspiracy theory seriously. Like
they're
part
fun.
of our name. Yeah. Part of our name was inspired by the kind of the David Icke reptilian shit, Children of Reptile.
Yeah,
that stuff is like pretty bad and like generally very anti-Semitic. It's not good stuff. But other stuff like fucking like JFK, we're all in on like that. Like fucking CIA like killed his ass, dude. They got him.
Oh yeah.
So like we're not.
Yeah.
The music, we're not approaching it from like, oh, look at this silly ha 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 stuff. Like I'm trying to get in a headspace where we're taking it seriously. Like I want this album to kind of make you feel like you're like fucking going insane throughout it. Like and that's the way the modern world feels. It just feels like there's constantly shit just making you fucking go insane. And you're like, if I could transport my consciousness to myself 10 years ago, I'd be like, this is fucking madness, all this shit you've fucking been through,
Yeah.
Like, and just like the way things have fucking gone. Like, I don't want to get like on a fucking tangent.
No, I know what you mean, dude.
There's just that feeling of just like slowly going insane and like getting to a point where you realize like maybe we're all just fucking crazy now. I don't know. I've still got a lot of work to bring this concept together, but like that's kind of where I'm going for. Just sort of like a generalized controlled madness feeling is what I want to convey with our next full-length album.
Yeah, I get it, man. Like our last album before, well, let's see, we did an album and an EP, then the last album before the EP was a concept album, and we worked on that for a long time. I mean, we ended up like I ended up writing a fucking novel, dude, off the fucking lyrics. Because I was
like a legit novel?
Dude, I did. I was trying to outline.
That's cool.
I got up to like 100 something pages. So I just like finished it, and it's like a fucking. I published it off Amazon, dude. It's just a fucking book, and it's like it's basically the story of of the album. Each chapter is
Hell
the
yeah.
song title and shit. So
That's really fucking cool.
I just used the same
Hell
cover
yeah.
as the album because it was already done. So
Yeah, might as well.
here's the back. So yeah,
Hell yeah, man. That's really sick.
yeah. It took
Yeah,
forever, dude.
I've
It was
always
hard,
wanted to
man. It was
like,
hard.
yeah, I've always wanted to write something like that, like, or write short stories. Like, I love short stories. Like, lyrics, I think, are even more like insane version of short stories. Like, it's just like you're trying to tell a story in as economical a way as possible, and like that's really attractive to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool, and like that's a fucking feather in your cap, dude. You should be really proud of that.
Yeah, it was, dude. I'll never do it again. It was a lot, dude. I mean, dude, you have to remember so much. Like, you should have seen like my scratch list. I was like, okay, so I got the characters. I got
Yeah.
like the Skullthor character, and then I have to make up somebody for this part of the story because it's not gonna make sense. In the
Yeah.
song, it makes sense because it's just like I'm in a boat killing Poseidon. Cool. On to the next.
Yeah.
But like when you're writing the story, you have to have like context, like what people are doing. It's just I'm like writing all these names down. Like, okay, I killed him here. This guy like is just like off somewhere. I have to remember his name. This girl does this. I have to remember later. And by the time I got to the end, dude, I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was this guy's name again? Like, I was like, oh. It was tough, dude. It was really it was tough to keep everything together.
When we do get the conspiracy album out, like I will post. I have a notebook where I've just been like writing ideas, and it looks just like the scrawlings of a fucking madman. I don't know if you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but there's that.
I haven't watched it in a couple seasons, but yeah, I'm familiar with it.
There's that like meme image of like Charlie in front of the board with it's like that kind of shit, just this madman shit. So that will get posted eventually. I'm reserving all that because like I just picked it up today and looked at it, I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about here? This is insane.
my note taking is like bizarre. Like me and Mark did this episode of like when they announced like the Power Trip Fest, we were like all excited. It's like, okay,
yeah,
so these are gonna be the headliners every day, and then here's the opening bands. Like we made like a whole episode, like who are gonna be the opening bands, and like it ended up it was just like 6 bands. Like it was like fucking nothing. And like it was just like really involved shit. I mean, we were like, let's get like 10 opening bands per day, what order they're gonna be in, who they're gonna open for the mains, blah 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 blah. And it was like, yeah, it's just 6 bands, 3 days. Like, oh fuck, well, that was fun, but yeah. So we were really into it. I even picked Tigers of Pantang to play one of the dates, dude. That's how deep in the weeds I got. So
dude, that would be sick. I love that band.
New
John
album,
Sykes,
by the way. It's pretty good. Yeah.
It came up on my Spotify, and I haven't listened to it yet, but
it's good. It came out the same day as the Lombardo one and Enforcer's new one and that one. So
okay.
I listened to it twice. The Enforcer one I'm pretty heavy into, and the Lombardo one's just cool to have like on background noise. So
yeah,
it's nothing heavy. There's no vocals, no guitar, there's no bass, just drums. It's basically like a big drum solo and some synth to fill in the void in the back. So
yeah, that's cool though. I'm always out for something that's. I won't say I'm tired of like listening to fucking hard rock and heavy metal, but like there's times when I'm just like, I don't want to hear a fucking guitar right now. Give me anything but a fucking guitar, and that sounds like it'd be great for that kind of mood.
yeah, it is. It's good. Yeah, it's a lot better than I thought it'd be. More involving. All right, Ozzie. Well, yeah, man, it's been a blast talking about this album. I'll be able to listen to these songs with some new insight now, which is really cool. So I'll pick up even more stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and yeah, if there's anything I can say, like fucking check out Nausicaa. Like that's a great movie.
Yeah, I have it.
Everyone would love that one.
Right here.
And I'm really looking forward to the festival, man. Meeting y'all. Is Mark coming down for that?
Yes.
With Overload.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's gonna be... So it's right now it's confirmed is us. I think we're gonna open the show just because of the local bands aren't really. There's not much local going on here as far as like what I need for this festival this year. So it's Oblivion Throne's not officially on board yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll be good to go. I know you just met them last week.
We just play with them. I've known Tommy for a long time. So
nice.
Yeah, so we're if they're on, like they're awesome. Like we just played with them and down here in Wilmington.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Great guys. Yeah. So yeah.
So it'll be us and Oblivion Throne should be for locals or just talent from here. and then it'll be Overload, you guys, and then Twisted Tower.
Yeah.
So we're just doing 5 instead of the usual 6 because it's on a Friday this year. They took away Saturday for other business reasons. So yeah, I was like, well, if it's a Friday, people are getting off work. You don't want to start a band like 7 o'clock. No one's really there yet. So let's just do 5 bands, start at 8. So
yeah, 5 bands is plenty. I mean, we're really looking forward to that. We love Asheville. We love to book shows in Asheville because we can go to Rocky's Hot Chicken.
Oh, there you go. There's 2 of them now actually here.
Yeah,
side, West side one's still there. You probably know that one. And then
we've only been to that
side.
one.
Yeah,
I know there's another one. There's actually one in fucking Greenville, South Carolina now too. But,
oh, really? They're expanding. Well, they might get out your way sooner or later.
I hope so, man. We don't have great hot chicken out here. I've been to Nashville a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, not a couple times. I've been once, and I went to Hattie B's, and like Rocky's is just as good as Hattie B's. Like, dude, they're both excellent, but like, yeah, Rocky's is like my favorite shit in the world. Chris, when our other guitar player, when he got married, we honeymooned it, or we didn't honeymoon. We did his bachelor party in Asheville.
Gotcha.
And we went to Rocky's 3 fucking times.
Oh, that good, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a hot spice level guy. I like spicy stuff. I went Rocky's hot, the one level above, and I was like, I can do this, but it's no longer necessarily enjoyable to me. And then there's still one level above that.
Yeah.
So yeah, hot is the level for me. So yeah, big fan of Rocky's. We'll be fucking that place up and farting the whole joint up. Actually, one time we played Asheville, we had a show in Atlanta the next day, and we ate Rocky's, and like we were riding to Atlanta, and all 4 of us were just like farting out like the nastiest fucking just cayenne pepper farts in the Suburban all the way to Atlanta. It was fucking miserable.
Was it in the summer too?
It actually wasn't. It was in January, so that was a little bit of a saving grace. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was like in Atlanta in summertime, dude, that would have been a rough ride.
Yeah. We did get we played at what's that place called? 512, I think, in Atlanta.
I think so. There's a lot of venues down there, man.
Yeah.
There's a ton of
there
venues.
are.
Yeah.
But you can smoke in Atlanta, I guess. So we all like we were probably sick before, but like the smoke in the venue, the small venue. We actually opened for fucking I can't remember, Leeway, New York hardcore band, Leeway, for that show. It was pretty sick. But we all literally just got sick on the trip back. We were riding back, all just like, and like I like had borderline pneumonia from that. I was like out from work for like a whole week, and like I finally went to the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, you've almost got pneumonia, so here's like some fucking medicine. Like, please take it." And like that was a miserable one. That was right after we released The End. So that was back in January 2018.
Right. Yeah, that's a good album too, man.
Anyway.
I've listened to that a lot lately also.
Yeah, we like everything we've done. We think, I guess every band thinks the latest thing they've done is the best thing they've done, but like I think the latest thing we've done is the best thing we've done. So
yeah, sure.
But it's all worth
also
listening.
Necessary to say.
if you're out there watching this, listen to this, whatever. If you liked Heavy as the Head, there's no reason you won't like the other 3 things we put out. So check them out.
Yeah, man, it's all good stuff, man. But yeah, so again, Children of the Reptile on streaming, and then Bandcamp, you can get the CDs like $15, well worth it. And then they got shirts and other stuff too. So no 2X, I noticed. I was trying to get some on Bandcamp Friday, and you're
man, 2X. we ran out of 2X. We're getting re-upped on shirts, and trust me, like I wear XL now, but like I'm a former 3X boy.
Right.
We've always tried to push having all the big boy sizes, and like they always sell the fuck out. So if you're a band out there being like, oh, we don't want to pay the extra $2 to get this 2X shirt, like people are gonna fucking buy them. They'll pay extra for them, even though we don't charge extra for them. Like we don't think it's a fucking crime to be a big boy. It all works out in the end. Get your 2X, get your 3X. You will fucking sell them. No questions asked. Especially in heavy metal, we got a lot of dudes of gravity who like this shit. So fucking do it. But we have a new t-shirt design coming down the pipe. We're talking to the artist right now. But we're going to re-up on some 2X and 3X, and I'll send you a message when we do it. But yeah, we had a good amount of them, but we're just fucking sold out now because people buy them.
It was the Tonehenge one.
Tonehenge, yeah,
that's cool.
We're running low on that. We're running low on that design. We're running low on t-shirts in general right now, but we've got some more coming. It's honestly something I should have been more on top of, but you know,
that happens.
it's tough. You know, you're an independent band, like you're doing all this shit yourself. So
Yeah.
I got work, I got a life outside of it. So
Yeah.
it just didn't happen with all the rest of the work for the album. But yeah,
Gotcha.
more t-shirts are coming very soon.
Cool. I'll be on the lookout. All right, man. Well, dude, it's been a blast, dude. Thanks
Yeah,
for coming on, and look forward to beating you in November 10th.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Well,
and
yeah,
as soon as the
we're all
poster,
really looking forward to that.
yeah, as soon as the poster's done,
Looks very cool.
announce it. So it's just the dude like does it for free. I can't really push him because it's just like, you know, you're doing this in the kindness of your heart. So whenever it's done, it's done.
Looks great.
Yeah, we got a while to go. So
that's band life, man. Take what you can fucking get.
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Twisted Tower also.
Oh yeah, I love
yeah,
those.
I was like
guys.
worried I would insult him with like this small ass venue and stage, and you know it's kind of like basically a step, or maybe even less than a step now. But yeah, they were totally cool. I was like, yeah, we don't care. I was like, okay, I just want to let you know that it's not anything. There's no big like production going on or nothing. It's basically a fucking step with an air conditioner over here.
I'll hit you with one last little story before we go. Like
okay.
I booked Twisted Tower Dire at our hometown venue, Reggie's, which is normally a great fucking venue with tons of people at it. But I was like you guys are like one of my favorite fucking bands. Like please just like come play Reggie's. Like we'll probably like get a good crowd for you. It was us, Twisted Tower Dire, and Salvation, who we were talking about earlier. Right. And fucking like nobody showed up for the show, man. Like I was so pissed, and I was like talking to the guys after the show, David, and I was like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like I thought we'd get some more people out here for this. Like normally it's much better. Like this sucks. I feel like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He's like, it's cool, man. Like it's not a big deal. And like it was never an issue. Like they're still like, you know, our buddies and stuff. So it's
yeah. I mean,
it didn't ruin our lives. So
I mean, I was telling like the guy, you know,
they're
like,
awesome guys, and they're one of the best United States power metal bands around. Like they're known fucking worldwide as one of the best. Like fucking Crust of the Martyrs. Like it does not get better than that record if you're listening to fucking power metal. It does not. It's one of the top like 3 power metal records ever put out in history. So love those guys. Fantastic. I can't wait to play with them again.
yeah. Hold on after I end it real quick. Don't hang up. But so thanks everyone for watching. Again, come out and see us November 10th in Asheville if you're in the area. Other than that, just buy the music and you know, enjoy it like I do, and tell your friends about it. And also, I didn't mention this, but listen to it with headphones or earbuds, because there is a lot of cool vocal stuff. Ozzie will tell you to eat shit in many ways that you don't really catch just on just like big speakers or like vehicles. So it's pretty fun. Yeah, I think I kind of four times in the album you told me to eat shit, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's just kind of in general. Nobody specific needs to eat shit, but yeah.
All right, man. Well, dude, again, thanks for the coming on and the awesome album, and look forward to everything you're putting out from here on, man.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
All right, later, everyone.